Hello basketball coaches and basketball players, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to give you some simple 3-out, 2-in basketball plays that you can run very successfully with teams that are under the grade 8 level. These are super simple plays. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to break down 3 different simple plays, 3-out, 2-in, that are against man-to-man defenses, and then I'm going to break down 2 or 3 different plays as well that are good against simple zone defenses. So let's get down to the clipboard and let's check these out. Okay, so first in this first play, what we are going to be having is player 3 setting a screen for player 1, and then we are going to have player 4 setting a screen up or a back screen up for player 2. Player 1 is going to use that screen, and player 2 is going to be using that screen. Player 2 is going to be cutting across. Now, while player 1 is using this screen, he needs to be keeping his eyesight open for player 2 to be open roughly in that area, so that when player 1 is using that screen, he can just do a quick pass over to player 2 for a layup. Now, that's not our number one option, but it could be there every once in a while. Once player 1 uses that screen, he could take that shot. That is an option as well. However, we are setting up player 5 to do a screen along the baseline so that when player 2 pops out towards the three-point line or mid-range area right there, what's going to happen here is where he can take his shot. We're going to be having player 3 rolling towards the basket, player 4 rolling towards the basket, because I always like to have a triangle of players, 3 players around the rim to get that rebound. Now, in this next basketball play, what we are going to be having is player 1 doing a dribble handoff with player 3. Player 3 is going to use that screen, and he's going to be then popping off. And what's going to happen here is player 2 is going to be setting a pin down screen for player 4. Player 4 is going to be popping off. Now, player 3 could have taken that shot. Player 1 is rolling towards the basket. He could also pass to player 1 for a quick jump shot or floater from the top of the key. However, our number one option is player 4 coming off of that pin down screen for that mid-range or even a possible 3-point shot if he's able to make it from that distance. Now, in this third play against a man-to-man defense, what we are going to be having is player 3. He's going to be popping down towards the low corner, and we're going to be having player 5 popping up for the screen and roll with player 1. Now, what I want to see is player 1's first option is to drive towards the rim. The reason for this is player 4, if he's coached and really well, he's going to be playing help defense to cut off that lane, which is when we're going to be having player 4 open down in the low post for that layup. Now, if that's not open, let's say player 1 fought through. What's going to happen now is player 5 is going to roll off that screen. He could be open again for that layup. However, we're going to be having player 4 popping out at the same time. And what we're going to be having to see is player 5 coming over, setting that screen for player 3. Player 3 is going to be using that screen, and now he could be hitting up player 3 for that layup. Now, these are all very effective plays to run at the youth level because they're very simple, and most teams should be able to understand this offense as long as they are roughly in that grade 4 to grade 8 range. Now, if you're playing up against a zone defense, because throughout the entire world and most continents, the zone defense is being played at a younger and younger level. So let's go up and play some simple plays against a 2-3, 2-1-2, and 3-2 zone defense. Okay, so first we have the 2-3 zone defense. Most likely we're going to have player 1 and 2 trapping up top, and we're going to be having player 4 and 3 guarding these 2 players essentially, while player 5 is guarding the center of the key. Now, in a 2-3 zone, the zones are covered just like so. If you don't already know, basically there is coverage areas. You're not guarding an individual man, and anywhere there's these overlapping areas, generally speaking, there's a double team that happens. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to try and overload this side. We're going to have player 1 pass over to player 2, and we're going to have player 1 cut down towards this low corner. Now this is going to be isolating the players just like so, and we're going to be having player 3 move down. Player 1 is cutting off the pass to the point, and what we will be seeing here is player 5 wanting to move up towards the high post. The reason for this is because now we can have the pass into the high post, which could be a shot that could also bring up player 5 for a nice high-low pass for a basket. However, what also can happen is player 1 can move down, which is now outside of his zone, where we now have player 3 open. Now, if that's the case, and if that ever does happen to your team, what I want you to do and what I want you to instruct your team to do is for player 5 to pass to that man. Now, that man could shoot that ball. That's totally fine because he's going to be pretty well wide open. But you're going to be now essentially swinging the ball around, which is a weakness against a zone defense. Zones don't like to be switching from side to side because that's a lot of running, but coverages tend to become open at that point. So player 1 is going to be recovering there, and what I want to see is player 5 cutting down towards the low post very quickly, because I want to see player 4 setting a screen out for 4, 5 setting a screen for 5, and I want player 1 to be cutting baseline, which now could be an open shot for player 1 somewhere in that area. But also now we're going to be having player 4 go into the high post, and which again, if we start having coverages mess up, we could now have the defense scrambling where they could make a mistake. Now against a 3-2 zone defense, we're going to be doing something very similar. However, what I like to personally run is what I call the pass and cut. So we're going to be having player 1 pass over to player 3. We're going to be having the defense shift just almost like so, and we're going to have player 1 cutting towards the center of the key. Now if he's open, I really want you guys to pass him the ball because of course he could shoot from there. He could collapse the defense onto him for some easy baskets. But if he's not open, let's say player 5 was just in between those two players, I want player 1 then to go and make a decision. He can either cut out around player 4 or he can cut out around player 5. So if he cuts out around player 4, player 2 is going to come up top, and now he's out towards this side. And if he cuts out instead around player 5, he could be open for a shot in this area. If he's not, let's say player 5 was to come out, player 4 is in the passing lanes for those two players, possibly, then what we would now have is player 3 dribbling up top and player 1 taking his spot. However, most likely what you're going to be seeing is a player 1 who is going to be open for a shot. Again, if he's not, we're going to be setting up the ball up top. And let's say we have player 3 pass over to player 2. And this time, instead of cutting around player 4, he's going to be cutting around player 5. Well, what's going to happen here is player 1 is going to be sinking down just a bit. Player 3 is going to be curling around. And then we're going to be having player 1 pop up top, player 3 pop up top. But generally speaking, when there's a player cutting down the middle, you're going to be seeing those two players popping in and collapsing on him, where we could then have also player 4 then being able to hit a quick low post shot. So there's a lot of things to keep your eyes on as a player in this offense, but it is very effective. Now a 2-1-2 is also a zone defense that is used now more and more at the youth level. However, generally speaking, it's the same structure as a 2-3 and 3-2 zone. The only difference is you have that middle player who is able to pop up to the point and then back down towards that baseline, which then turns it from a 3-2 2-2 into a 2-3 zone, and really that's all what a 2-1-2 zone pretty much is. So you could run both of those plays against the 2-1-2 zone as well. Anyways, I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys again later on today for the second video of the day.